Let's go on to story number 2, reported by complex.com. So there is a new sneaker retailer that repurposes branded footwear, meaning that they deconstruct it and then they use the parts to make new ones. They're targeting a very specific market, which makes these shoes very special. And so, Mia, my question is, what is the market that they are targeting with this new sneaker line?
New sneaker line. I'm gonna assume moms, Karens, leisure sneakers.
Moms. They're making sneakers for horses, and we have pictures courtesy of Complex. Look at this. So the company is called Horse Kicks. They're crafted by a shoe artist named Marcus Lloyd. He's from Kentucky. And of course, the Kentucky Derby is a major horse race
Right.
annually. So that's the inspiration. They're designed over a medical horse boot, and they're covered with repurposed sneakers, and a single horseshoe, technically sneaker horseshoe, whatever, starts at $1,200 US. Look at that. What do you think? Are you going to go line up to get yourself some horse sneakers there, Mia?
I want to know how big these horses are because we bring in like the police, like you've seen Elf, right? The movie.
Sure,
Have
of
you seen it with
course.
Will Ferrell? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they say the Central Park Rangers and they're on those massive horses,
Uh-huh.
we have those that come to town here in Jacksonville for the Florida Georgia game, which is this weekend. And so they were at the Jaguars game patrolling with the police officers aboard them in the parking lot on Sunday, and they're the biggest horses I've ever seen in my life. I want to know if it's like if they are the shack of horses, like what size sneaker would they need to wear versus is the actual sneaker bigger? Is it smaller? Like, are we talking like little Sebastian here can like fit in that type of sneaker? Or like, yeah, that's my next question.
So Complex has pictures on their website where they look like average size horses. So they don't look like miniature horses. They look like regular living in a pasture
Okay.
horses that are
Standard.
wearing these sneakers. And so I don't know. I understand the dudes from Kentucky and the Kentucky Derby, and you know that there's going to be some crazies out there that are going to buy these. I don't even know if the horse would like it. Like, would
Well,
the horse even want to be a part of that?
here's the big question. John Calipari, the head coach of Kentucky basketball, I believe they're a Nike school or an Adidas school. I forget which one, but isn't that going to stir some controversy in Big Blue Nation in Kentucky? They're very specific about what type of sneaker they wear because of Kentucky basketball. So that's the real follow-up question.
I think I'm going to have to isolate what you just said, and I'm going to tag him on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get thoughts on what do you think about the horseshoes, everything that you just said in Kentucky and all of
Yeah. Are
that.
you a Nike school? Are you an Adidas school? Like, please tell me what you really are, Kentucky.
Right. We're gonna have to find that out. So I'm gonna guess that my next question, your answer is gonna be no, based on what you told me about animals, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Have you ever purchased or considered purchasing shoes for an animal?
I can say no. The,
I
the
figured.
answer the answer is no. Not no. No.
Now, you said that you thought about getting a dog.
Mhm.
So, are you one of those people where you're gonna get the dog and then you're gonna get the little shoes that go on the dog and the little coat that goes on the
No.
dog, and, people that do
No.
stuff like that?
Yeah, like John Alba, my co-host on
Does
Out of
John Elba
Bounds.
do
Yeah.
that?
Oh, John Alba loves his little miniature dogs. Big mini dog guy. I'm much more of a golden retriever, miniature size, like medium size dog, where like I can run around and play fetch with the dog and then cuddle with the dog on the couch. Like I'm much
Uh-huh.
more that. John is all about the mini dog life.
Interesting. So
The,
you
no,
want the
the, the
kind of
tiny
dog.
dog, tiny dog.
Yeah, you want the kind of dog where if an intruder shows up, your dog is not gonna run out of the room. That's the kind of dog you want, right?
Yes. Yes.
Interesting. I'm still wrapping my head around the banana thing. It's very
Yeah,
fascinating.
it definitely shocks a lot of people. It's really a hit on the dating apps too. I will say that.
But it's a great icebreaker,
I
right?
tried that, and I wrote my Common App essay for college about French dressing and my obsession with that as a small child. Those are probably the two best conversation starters I got in the starter pack.
I am learning so much about you today. All right. Holiday gift ideas.
There you go.
It is time already for story number 1. Time goes by
Ooh.
quick when I'm doing this. This last one is reported by KCCI NBC 8. So check this one out. The police department out of Des Moines, Iowa, they reported the sighting of a mountain lion in a local neighborhood, and they got video surveillance of it. And the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, or DNR, they inspected the video and they confirmed that it showed a mountain lion. And so they wanted to warn the public and make sure that everybody's aware that there's a problem here. Mia O'Brien, what happened next?
Well, first and foremost, Jimmy, we need to have the disclaimer of all disclaimers, which is I spent 3 years living in the great state of Iowa. I have
Aha!
many good friends that work over at KCCI Channel 8 in Des
There
Moines.
you go. There you go.
So yeah, so this is the question is how did they alert the public?
No, what happened next? After
Oh, what
after
happened next?
yeah, after they warned
Actually,
the public about it, what happened
after
next?
they warned the public, I am assuming that they started selling shirts with the mountain lion on them at Ray Gun stores in Des Moines.
Is that what they do?
I listen, anytime that something viral happens in the state of Iowa, Ray Gun Shirts, the greatest store in the universe, they come
Uh-huh.
out with the t-shirts. So that is my official my final answer. My guess is that Ray Gun came out with a line of shirts.
It wasn't a mountain lion, it was a house cat. And we got video courtesy of Des Moines Police on Facebook. Check this out. Look at this. Look at how come on.
Listen,
I mean, they had experts looking at this. Come on.
there's not a lot of wildlife in Iowa. I
I
will say that.
don't get it. I put it up again, Joel. Put it up again. How did they? So, upon further inspection, the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources in Iowa, they revised their statement saying that yes, it is in fact a house cat. A spokesman for the Iowa DNR, his name is Vince Evelsizer. He says the video was grainy and small, so it was hard to tell. And he apologized on behalf of the DNR for any confusion that they may have caused. Come on. How do you possibly see a mountain lion in that video? What do you think of that?
Well, now that as I'm sitting here in my podcast studio and given the Jacksonville Jaguars over there, I see lots of mountain lion, leopard, jaguar type caricatures on all of our things on the wall here. Maybe moving to Florida is what got me to re-understand, since I knew what a lion was when I was a kid, what the big cats are out there. I mean, I hate to say it, you got the Des Moines Zoo, and I don't think they're experiencing a lot of wildlife out there. Having lived there for 3 years, whereas like here in Florida, for example, like we have geckos and like frogs and weird like birds with red beaks walking around, and you're just like, oh, it's part of like the natural like surroundings. I've had to rack my brain in terms of what wildlife right now that I was exposed to when I lived in Iowa.
I still don't like. So if that was a dog, or they'd be like, "Oh my goodness, a wolf's been spotted." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, plus it's Des Moines, so it's central Iowa. If you go further north, like Decorah, right on the Minnesota border, like up there, like they got some bears, they got
Uh
some
huh.
woodland creatures, they got some mountain lions, like they would know. But in Des Moines, yeah, no, it's
I mean, an
yeah.
expert said that that was a mountain lion. You know what I mean? I'm not an expert, and I could look at
They
that and
didn't
tell
know
you
how,
in two
where the
seconds.
camera level was at. Like they didn't know if it was like a bird's eye view or if it was low on the ground. So you never
That
know where the
didn't
ring
walk
camera
like a
is.
mountain lion. You know what I mean? It walked like a house
But look at
cat.
that tail. That tail. That's the difference. That's why they were like panicked because that tail was
Maybe, maybe.
wagging like it was a dog's.
Right, right. So, have you ever had a close encounter with a wild animal?
Ooh, yes. So back to my childhood house in the mountains. We historically, the way the community that we have the house in is set up is like deers roam free. They're like part of the community. Like you see the deers, you don't feed them, but like you say hi to them. But there were bears and they were tagged. So like they were identified, like, you knew where they were. But the closest encounter that I had with said bear was I actually wasn't home for it, so it's actually my cousin, but it's close enough. We were at the lake, and my little sister and my cousin, who were about 5, oh no, I was 7, so they were like 4 at the time. They were playing in the living room. My grandma's home with them, and my youngest cousin, who at the time was 1 month old, for whatever the reason, they decided to leave her in her bassinet in the stroller on the patio. And my grandma's upstairs taking a shower, and the neighbors call and they say, "Hey, do you have the baby sitting on the patio?" And she goes, "Yeah, why?" And the neighbor goes, "Well, you know that a bear just crossed the street into your front yard." And my grandma came
Aha.
running down in just a towel. And my sister says that was what scarred her more than the bear that was quickly approaching my little cousin. And they grabbed Olivia and they brought her inside. But that's why we always joke that, the baby, since she's not a baby, she's 23 or
Uh-huh.
22 now. But yeah, that
Uh-huh.
was the closest encounter. And then when we got home, because this was pre cell phones, yeah, that was quite the tale to tell. And so a lot of close calls for that kid. They also thought they left her at an amusement park once. They just left the stroller. They had her. So yeah, this kid has had a very troubled life. But listen, she's got a job. She's thriving, doing her
That's
thing post
good.
grad. So listen, don't call it a comeback.
Good, good. So there's no nightmares about bears.
No,
Nothing's
not that I
happening like
know of.
that, right?
She
Yeah,
definitely,
not
when
that
I
you know of.
visited her, her senior year. She went to Arizona State, and she definitely had the classic like senior scaries, but I don't think they were bear induced.